comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. There will be no discussion on items not on the agenda as they have not been made part of the required public notice of this meeting. We've called everyone to order. Great. Okay. With the meeting called to order, we are going to move on to the approval of the minutes. First, we have the July 6th meeting minutes as revised. And only those folks who were in attendance at that meeting can vote tonight. So with that said, has everybody had a chance to review the revised minutes? And if so, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Great. Phil Singleton has approved. Is there a second? I saw Julia, your hand in the air. Julia seconded. Great. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, Jana, let me know when you have everybody.
Got it.
Great. Okay, so the July 6th meeting minutes revised are approved. We're going to move on to the August 2nd meeting minutes, and these are revised. And I ask the same question. If everybody's had a chance to review those, is there a motion to approve?
To approve.
Go to Phil again and a second. Ted, is that you for a second?
Yep.
Yes.
Ted will
Sure.
second. All approved. Hands in the air, please. Jenna, are you good?
Yep.
Great. Thank you all very much. Greatly appreciate it. We're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is the county updates from Claire.
Or not.
And Stuart, you have the floor.
Audio issues there.
Claire, can you hear us? I tell you what we'll do then.
Now? How about now?
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
we
I
go.
am. Okay,
There you
great. Sorry
go,
about that, guys.
No problem. It's all
It just
floor's
happens
yours.
every so often. Yeah, so just a couple updates, as usual, pretty quick. The comp rezoning, the residential text will be before the County Planning and Zoning Commission on September 21st for a final recommendation to the county commissioners. And then at that time, we'll go ahead and take residential maps and text to the commissioners. And we'll be hoping to wrap that whole residential process up by the end of the year. The water and sewer master plan, planning is processing a fall amendment for that, which was sent around to all the towns for input. I don't believe we have any amendments for Sykesville this round, but that'll be hopefully heading to NDE for approval in November or December. And then we are also starting the triennial update process. And we will, throughout that, be meeting with the towns periodically to get input, as you guys are aware. And then the last update, we are still working on a second survey for public input related to the transportation master plan. And that will be released this fall. Are there any questions?
No questions. Any
Okay.
any additional comments from the town or? Great. Thank you,
Great,
Claire.
guys.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to the next item on the agenda. This is the Stonehouse Restaurant site plan. I'm going to turn it over to Joe to give us a little background here and town's recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So like you said, tonight before the Planning Commission is the proposed site plan for the Stonehouse Restaurant. The existing structure is proposed to be renovated into a roughly 2,000 square foot restaurant with a second story dwelling unit, roughly 1,100 square foot, second story, 2-bedroom dwelling unit. The site is zoned local business, so these uses are allowed within that district. It is not within the historic district, so everything kind of falls to the Planning Commission for approval. So the site itself is 3.1, a little over 3.1 acres. It sits at the edge of College Road at the intersection of 32. So a good commercial frontage there along 32. Parking required for this proposal roughly works out to around 23 spaces. There's 25 being proposed. So this is one of those projects that can actually comply with current parking standards within town. The existing parking lot does narrow a bit on the drive aisles. I think it's shown there on the site plan between 24 feet and 23 feet respectively. But again, close enough to the standard 25 feet that's required. One of the issues that we do identify is that the drive aisle does narrow pretty substantially there towards the entrance into the parking lot. So the entrance is there along College Avenue, and that drive aisle that goes up into the parking lot is really only 15 feet wide, which would make it pretty difficult for cars to pass in and out of that driveway. So we are asking that be widened to at least 20 feet just to facilitate the in and out actions there of future patrons to the restaurant. We're also asking that the parking lot itself, the parking spaces, that curb stops be added. Right now, the curb stops are only showed on the handicap spaces there towards the building. There is a pretty substantial grade on this property, so we don't want cars drifting through the hillside. So again, some sort of barrier or buffer there to prevent that from happening is also recommended. Signage on the property, there are 2 freestanding signs that are proposed at 12 feet by 8 feet, along with a building mounted lettering or signage as well. The sign standards for the local business district limit the amount of signage to roughly 200 square feet. So just the freestanding signs alone come to, I think it was 196 feet. So there would have to be some adjustments there to comply, or they would have to apply for a variance for the signage that's being proposed. Other than that, again, I'm sorry, the entryway into the parking lot, we are also asking for a stop bar and a stop sign, just so people don't just go cruising out on the College Avenue. We want to make sure that that's clearly signed that, again, that is a true street. But other than that, a few minor amendments here and there to the site plan, staff is comfortable with granting approval. Again, the planning commission has full authority to grant approval or ask for other amendments to the site plan. We do have representatives from the Stonehouse Restaurant, along with their design engineers, to answer any questions that the planning commission may have.
Yeah, one quick question, signage, any signage located on the 32 side of the building?
There's
It would be.
it's hard to see. It's on there's a freestanding sign.
Right here,
Yeah, right there.
Got it, okay,
and the other one's right here.
got it, thank you. I don't have any further questions at this point. Do any planning commission members have any questions, or shall we hear from the applicant to see if they have anything to say? Or?
No question.
Great, Joe, let's go ahead, and if we could go to, we could also see, actually, let's hear from the applicant to see if they have any comments to make based on the application and the town's recommendations.
I can start, Mike. Mr. Chair, Marty Hackett with CLSI. There's the couple of outstanding comments that Mr. Constantini talked about. We have no problem with. Our goal obviously is to take an existing structure and Mike Wittig they want to start this business and bring it to town, and we're trying to keep obviously the area of disturbance to a minimum. But as far as the comments that were discussed, Mr. Wittig's in agreement with what we have to do with the entrance and the stop bar and the signage. If he wants to make an adjustment or go for a variance, we have those options. But I think he wants to take the path of least resistance, and if he wants to add to that, but the goal is to get the thing opened up, and then from there, if we do too much more to the project to make it a larger project, the stormwater management costs that start to incur obviously get pretty crazy. So they're looking forward to getting the thing started and getting opened up and hopefully bringing a nice pizzeria and Italian restaurant to the place.
Great. That sounds good. With the assuming planning commission approval this evening, what is the expected opening? What are they targeting?
Hey, Mike, would you answer that, please?
Yeah, sure. The earliest would probably be spring. Ideally, it'd probably be somewhere summer next year.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm assuming the new deck would be part of the restaurant space, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Great. Saw that going up this past winter. So it was anticipation for that, I guess.
Trust me, we spend a lot of sunset evenings out there, just wishing we had a cold brew from the kitchen and a nice pizza one of these days.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Joe, what is needed, I guess, this is in front of the planning commission for approval of the concept, is that correct?
Approval of the site plan.
Site plan, got it.
So what we would ask is just the planning commission move to approve with the amendments that are included in the staff report.
Great. Planning commission, any discussion on this, or is everybody okay with the approval based on the town's comments? Is that correct?
That's correct.
If
That's
that
correct.
is the case, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the plan with the town amendments.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and second that.
All right.
Joe, if you could get us to the full screen where we see all the planning commission members, that would be a big help for Jen. Great. So we have Phil has sent the motion. I have seconded the motion. All in favor with this plan based on the town's recommendations and amendments, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Looks like we have unanimous consent here.
Good.
Great. Mr. Wedding and family, I wish you all the luck. Look forward to
Yes.
seeing
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
Definitely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Great. We are now on to the town updates. I'll turn it over to Joe again.
A couple updates here for you. One, I just want to thank everybody for participating in the joint workshop that we had with City Council or Town Council a few weeks ago regarding Warfield. Just to give a little bit of an update there, really haven't been any substantial conversations since that meeting. However, there's likely going to be at least one other joint workshop that we'll end up doing just based on some of the information that they've presented so that they can actually show what their concepts may be for revising that plan out there. Now, again, that doesn't mean it's going to be revised, but we want to give them the opportunity to actually show you what it is that they have in mind based on those studies that they presented the other night.
And Joe, let me stop you there. I do want to call attention to one particular point of that session where Warfield developers had pointed to the board where the plan existed and called it a draft plan. I don't necessarily know if that was the correct name for that plan. I thought that might be a little more than a draft plan, but I just wanted to call that out. I'm not sure what the proper name of that plan was.
Yeah,
That was the
it's-
approved plan or not.
Yeah, as far as from my perspective, it's the approved concept plan for Warfield.
That's what I thought. So I just wanted to
Yeah,
point
it's not
that
bad.
out. So I did not do so that evening, but as I thought later on, I thought it best in open forum to say that.
No, that's good. It's good to point that out.
Great.
But yeah, that is an approved conceptual plan for the property. Now, again, they would still have to come forward with individual site plans for the buildings. So again, it's not a final plan, but
Okay.
again, it was voted on and approved as a concept.
Great. Thank you.
Some of the other brief ones, just to give everyone an update on the Dunright buildings there along Springfield. The applicant, I know they were before Planning Commission last month, they have submitted for, or at least pre-submittal application for the county review process. I know there was still some outstanding information that the town had requested regarding parking and some geometrical studies. During this pre-application process or that review process that we're going through with the county, we do expect to receive that information. It'll certainly be passed along to the Planning Commission. And before they can move forward with site plan, similar to what we just did with the Stonehouse folks. All of that information would have to be submitted, reviewed, and agreed to by the town before we would entertain a site plan there.
I had another thought on that. I'm sorry to interrupt again, but
That's okay.
as it relates to that, after the meeting, I got to thinking, the one building where they want to put parking inside the building. How is the square footage where they're trying to put the parking inside the building calculated as far as parking requirements? So is that building smaller from a square footage standpoint, and that square footage for the parking area not included in the calculation for parking for the other uses? Or is it also included in the parking?
No, because the building would be, or at least a portion of that building would be converted to parking. That square footage is no longer used to calculate any other usable square footage and require additional parking on top of that. So it's basically like you just took it away.
Good. I thought that was the case. Just wanted to hear it and make sure. And I didn't know if removing or demolishing that end of the building to give a surface lot versus a structured parking would provide ample space or require parking size requirements to give them a little more space or not. So I just, again, that came up kind of after the meeting, and glad we're in public forum now. So
Yeah, it's a little tight in that building, at least what they were proposing.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see what they're doing. If they end up deciding just to remove that back half of the structure, it might actually help. But
Yes.
we'll see.
Okay.
The next would be 7518 Main Street. This is the Kevin Catering Building. It's been a while since you all have seen that come forward.
Yes.
I know it's still in that county comment cycle. We just received a letter, I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, from Stormwater Management that they're still working out some issues there. So again, until they get all of those comments addressed, it won't be back before the Planning Commission. I'd say optimistically, you might see it before the end of the calendar year, but it doesn't look like it's going to be next month.
Okay.
And then two other quick ones. The Patapsco Regional Greenway Trail, I know this came up a couple meetings ago as well. They are looking at scheduling another public meeting to discuss, I guess, exactly how the connections are going to be made from downtown Sykesville over through the state park over there past Freedom. The public meeting is scheduled for September 30th at 6 p.m. We'll make sure that everybody on the Planning Commission gets a link to how to register for that if you're interested in seeing. how
Yes.
it's
Thank you.
And then lastly, we did receive plans for the Norfolk Grumman property. So this is a property actually outside of town, but the county does keep us in the loop whenever those projects are moving forward. Looks like they're just doing some parking lot reconfigurations, but again, we wanted to make sure the Planning Commission was aware that there would be some work going on over Norfolk Grumman. If anybody's interested in seeing the plans, we do have those at the town. And that is all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you. I'm going to add one more thing for the Planning Commission. I've been in contact with Joe, and we're trying to get some time together to meet and talk about the actionable items in our comprehensive plan that we just passed. It's the 2030 plan. We've got, 8.5 years to go. So time's a ticking, and I felt it best since we have some action items and some low-hanging fruit on that, we go ahead and put an action plan together internally to work it through the town and those items that we can right now, or we have some the ability to push those through. So we'll be meeting at some point in September and start to tackle some of those projects. Great. Any further items or comments from anyone?
Nope.
No.
We might have a record tonight.
Get that.
So is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Great, we've got it. All right, we don't need to vote on this, but thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll talk next month.
All right.
Sounds good.
Deal.
Thank you
Welcome
all.
again,
Adios.
Jeremiah.
Good night,
Yep.
guys.